Hi, I'm Indy Neidell, and this is a World War II in real-time public service announcement. A very special one, actually. Now, we've already hinted a few times about something big we're preparing, and today I'm going to tell you all about it. Last year, we traveled to France to cover the 1940 German invasion and the breakthrough at Sedan, and we really realized how important it is to have boots on the ground for in-depth research. Apart from the fact that we discovered a bunch of new stuff by seeing things firsthand, we simply got a much better idea of how things happen, and I think you did as well. So, this summer, we're going to Hawaii to film and to research in order to be able to cover the attack on Pearl Harbor minute by minute. Yep, you heard me, every minute of the roughly 6 hours that it lasted. And we will publish it in real local time starting 6 a.m. December 7th this year on this channel. The immediate events leading up to the actual raid read like a thriller novel, with Japanese diplomats burning codebooks, the interception of mysterious radio traffic, and even the overall foreboding atmosphere that war could break out at any time. The attack itself is a story of good timing and bad luck, of daring plans and underestimated capabilities, of victory and of tragedy. It is a story of how two nations that had been on a collision course for years collided. With over 360 minutes, over 6 hours of coverage, we will give you an in-depth explanation of not only what happened, but perhaps more importantly, why. We will immerse you in the speed, the surprise, the adrenaline, and the terror of the first moments of active World War II for the United States. We will introduce you to the defenders, the pilots, the commanders, the political leaders, all embroiled in this sudden great act of war. We begin with the takeoff of the Japanese planes from their carriers, then the confused submarine sightings, the interception of radio messages through the two air raids to the arrival of the final planes at the rendezvous point off Hawaii. While the battle rages, we will also look at the events leading up to this day, the break-off of communications, the initial planning phase, and that fateful decision in Japan that changed the course of World War II, that changed the course of history. We'll go into the technical specifications of the bombers and the ships, the detailed tactics and the overall strategy, the layout of the Oahu Naval Base, the disposition and capabilities of the Japanese Navy, and even its midget submarines. You heard right, midget submarines. But we don't just want to talk about the military details. We also want to talk about the human experience and the human cost, the tragedy, the bravery, the heroism, the sailors, the pilots, the nurses, the people. We'll travel to Hawaii and Japan to visit where it happened and where it was planned. We want to talk to local historians, we want to talk to veterans, we want to show you the equipment being used and the ships being attacked. We'll use animated maps, CGI, archive footage, interviews, and more to create the ultimate historical experience. Never before has December 7th, 1941 been covered in so much detail on video. The story of Pearl Harbor is not just the simple story of one attack on one nation on one day. From when the British Royal Navy shows that an airborne attack from carriers like this attack is even possible in its raid on Taranto, Italy in 1940, the Japanese Navy begins planning, equipping, and training for the Pearl Harbor attack, or Operation Z. This is nothing less than a huge gamble, with the future of the whole Japanese empire staked on the outcome of this attack. This blow has to land, or the war in China could turn against them. And there's another, less popularly known story about the attack. We think of Pearl Harbor as an isolated event, but it was, in reality, part of a broad, simultaneous campaign that day all over the Pacific, with attacks on the Philippines, Guam, Wake Island, Malaya, Singapore, and Hong Kong in parallel. The goal was to preemptively strike at any potential future enemies who might interfere with Japanese domination of the Pacific, to seize control by taking the initiative. Ultimately, however, it was the attack that would wake the giant. The American public had been nowhere near willing to be dragged into a faraway war in East Asia, or for that matter, Europe. But the surprise attack on Pearl Harbor, this day of infamy, this changed everything. Pearl Harbor is the moment when the World War truly goes global. In an instant, the war goes from mere crazy to raging madness, from lightning to light speed, and from massive to gargantuan. It's also the moment when the atrocities, both in Asia and Europe, accelerate to an unprecedented level. Here on this channel, we will follow all of those developments as accurately, meticulously, and neutrally to the standards for which we are known. As always, we will publish our content for free. We want as many people as possible to see it, to keep the memories and the lessons from our past alive. That's what TimeGhost does. This project will require that we up our game significantly, of course. It will require far more resources than we currently have. It will need more people, more time, more planning, more footage, and more videos. Again, as always, we will do our best to work together with and engage you in comments, Q&As, early access to content, and insight into our creative process. To achieve our goals, we have to expand our TimeGhost army, find corporate backers for financing and for technical collaboration. You can easily help with that by spreading the word, sharing our content, discussing it on message boards, and by joining the TimeGhost army on Patreon or at timeghost.tv. There, we have already created a special tier for the year 1941. We'll be announcing some special benefits for that membership shortly. We're also launching a World War II memorial program so that you can support the war effort by remembering those people in your lives or your ancestry that lived, fought, and died between 1939 and 1945 within our videos. A generation that sacrificed their youth to put out the fires of a world in flames. And you can learn more about that in the video right here. Join the TimeGhost Army, share and promote this channel, subscribe and ring that bell, and make sure that we never forget.